Sabi ni MlSAMlS sa kanyang privilege speech, bakit ko raw sinabi na merong 50,000 pesos allowance yung RTC court? Sabi niya, oh, it's a practice. Is that so, Mr. Administrator? Is that your practice that your courts are being given allowances by the city government or the local government? Sabi ni MlSAMlS, hindi naman 50, 25 lang eh. Kahit na 5 pesos lang yun, MlSAMlS, mali pa rin yun. Because I don't think the judge should receive allowances. The judge should maintain the court neutrality of an impartial judge.
Kong Marcoleta, you are given 10 minutes to give the executive summary of allegations before the next phase, which is a question and answer interpellation phase will proceed. So this is a 10-minute uninterrupted presentation. Thank you. 10 minutes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I am presenting 2019 Status of Contracts Report, Regular Infra, Regional Implementation as of 31 January 2020. This is a system-generated report, an application called PCMA by the DPWH. On page 73 of that report, Mr. Chair.
Can you give a copy to the committee sec after the
I
hearing?
will give all these copies to the chair. Project 19KJ0186. This is the project we're talking about, Mr. Chair. Constructed by Alpha and Omega General Contractor. This is the contractor. As of January 31, 2020, that project is 71.36% complete. That is why I wanted to ask the contractor if he is present, because I know he started the project sometime May 2020. How come it is already 71.36% complete? As a matter of fact, Mr. Chair, I will show the corresponding picture taken on December 14, 2020, which I think is in the slide as I gave the COMSEC. What is the status of that project as of December 2020? Can you please flash it on the screen so that you can see the difference? I'd like to ask, of course, the DPWH why they did not verify that report. And so, COA, I'd like to ask also whether the first billing of that contractor, how much is that? Because if he was paid to the rate of 71% of that project, which is yet to be constructed, then the COA was paying a ghost project, Mr. Chair. And I'm saying that the cluster project in Malaubang, in Barangay, Mr. Chair, was constructed on a public land. To remedy the situation, Mr. Chair, MlSAMlS filed a resolution in January 2020 converting that particular land area consisting of about 82
You mean a bill,
hectares.
House bill?
It's House bill. It's here, Mr. Chair. I will give you. And of course, he can... that's the report. The picture, the picture of the... Litrato yun nung project. It's a project. And so he filed a bill, Mr. Chair, converting that public land into alienable and disposable. It is as if that that particular bill becomes a law, he could have remedied the situation. I will ask, of course, the resource person, especially the Solicitor General, whether a project can be constructed on a public land. Whether the city government can determine for itself the use of a public land. And then, Mr. Chair, there is a writ of possession. And it is all here. is the writ of possession, Mr. Chair, miraculously turn itself into a title covering all those lots expropriated in the name of the city government? And so why on Building 1 and Building 2, these projects were constructed considering that these are private lands? By the way, the writ of possession, the procedure was still being questioned by the residents. It's already with the Supreme Court, Mr. Chair. That's why there is a representative from the Office of the City Administrator. Did MlSAMlS notify the House of a possible conflict of interest in filing that bill based on Section 12, Article 6 of the Philippine Constitution? Because he must have done that, because it was his project. Where did the money come from in regard to the cluster housing? There are 3 projects involved in this project, Mr. Chair. The pictures are already here. I will give all this to the chair. In Barangay Laman, Mr. Chair, there are 2 condo-type buildings. The first one is funded by the national government, 50 million pesos. The second building is funded by the local government, 50 million. But there is a cluster housing in Barangay Malaubang. That's where it was constructed on a public land. There is a 50 million budget to that. Where did that come from? I'd like to ask the COA. Kasi, Mr. Chair, yung first building is 19 kJ 0186. The second building is 20 kJ 0183 or something. Pero yung Malaubang, what is the contract ID? Where did the 15 million come from? Wala naman sa GAA yun. Wala rin sa city government. Kaya pala, ang nangyari, dito sa billboard nila, Mr. Chair, yung first building, 35 million na lang. But, sa GAA, this is 50 million. Naging 35 million na lang. Ito, billboard nila ito. Silang maggamay ito. Bakit naging 35 million? Because the 15 million was placed in Malaubang, the cluster project. That's technical malversation, Mr. Chair. Why did the city government, sabi niya, oh, we will condemn, we cannot injure, we cannot harm our residents. Pikit mata, sasabihin nila. Ibig sabihin, yung mga residents na to na nag-complain sa Supreme Court, Mr. Chair, sila mismo nag-demolish. I will show you the evidence, Mr. Chair, nandito. Ayan ba yung 71%? As of December 14, 2020, yan ba yung 71%? Tingnan ninyo. Baka 17, baka 17. I'm not an engineer. Pero as of January 31, 2020, it's already 70.36%. 2020 na yan. Hindi, 17 pa lang yan eh. But as of January 31, 2020, Mr. Chair, sa report ng DPWH, 71% complete. How can you do that? Ngayon, paano nyo i-demolish yung bahay ng dahil binigyan lang kayo ng writ o possession? I will question even the court, Mr. Chair. Sabi ni MlSAMlS sa kanyang privilege speech, bakit ko raw sinabi na merong 50,000 pesos allowance yung RTC court? Sabi niya, oh, it's a practice. Is that so, Mr. Administrator? Is that your practice that your courts are being given allowances by the city government or the local government? Sabi ni MlSAMlS, hindi naman 50, 25 lang eh. Kahit na 5 pesos lang yun, MlSAMlS, mali pa rin yun. Because I don't think the judge should receive allowances. The judge should maintain the cold neutrality of an impartial judge. Justice Peras, RTC 15, number 15 and 35. Palagay ko, inalis nyo na siya. He's somewhere else. He can no longer stand the pressure in Osamis City. Kung walang demolition order coming from the court, with the writ of possession, you can demolish. Possession is one. Ownership is another. My question, bakit pinayagan ng DPWH at saka ng COA na itayo yung mga projects na yon dun sa lupa?
Sir, 1 minute to go for the 10 minutes.
These are the things that we would like to to determine, Mr. Chair. Left and right lang, violation lahat ng ito. Gusto kong hanapin lahat ng kasagutan. All questions must be answered truthfully, honestly, for the sake of our people, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
The allegations have now been outlined, and those are the allegations that he outlined. I see 4 allegations. One is a ghost project. Number 2 is technical malversation allegation. Number 3 is the falsification of the report of the engineer on site for the project. Number 4 is the unethical giving of allowance, which violates the Corrupt Practices Act for the RTC judges from the city of MlSAMlS. So those are the initial. And number 5 is the not proper following of procedure on demolition. So, and number 6 is it was earlier mentioned in the Bayanihan as one act. There is a provision to cease all demolition, suspension of all demolition. So there are 6 allegations.
I
Yes.
said that they violated Republic Act 7279 because under that law, the small landowners are exempted.
Okay,
They
number
also violated Republic Act 10752 because the local government should have gone through the Solicitor General or the Office of the Government Counsel.
Okay,
That is the law.
the 7 and 8 allegations now outlined before this committee. So those are the allegations only. There are no evidence yet. And now we will proceed. If everybody is in consonance, we proceed with the next part of the agenda, which is the interpellation, which is normally a question and answer portion. So I don't want to hear anybody questioning the congressman why they are questioning, because if you get the definition of interpellation, it is to interpellate or propound questions. So we are now entering this phase. I ask the witnesses on site on Nograles Hall and Zoom to please stand up for their oath